this other protocol thing.
Okay, great. Is this more? Was this sort of more of a flashback, getting these things into place and all this other kind of stuff? Like right when,
Kind of, yeah. I wanted
okay,
this to be a push so we could justify a bunch of other moves.
that's totally fine. So yeah, and the roll is good, and Joe's authority is the perfect thing to bring it up into the deal. Joe is in hanging in midair, and with Joe hanging in midair, I will stop, and we need to do the move that we haven't yet done in this entire game. You know what I'm really upset about right now? I did that really cool scene with Kiln and I hadn't hit record yet.
Oh no!
Very upset with myself right now. Anyway, we'll have to.
And you did something incredibly cool with it too.
I really did. I was super happy with that, and
So I want you to start the recording, and I want you to briefly recap what you said.
okay. Because I'm really happy with that. I thought of it in the shower, and I was like, "This is really, really good." Okay, so what had happened? What I just said was Kiln. So first of all, I had Kiln roll adaptability because I wanted to gauge how connected he was right now with what was happening right at the moment versus whether or not he was sort of disassociating back to his past selves. And damn it, whoo, bad day for me for pronouns. Anyway, I should be able to remember that better because I've sort of established that Kiln is at least in some sense plural. Anyway, they had a 4 on the adaptability thing. I read that as being really open to this, the past stuff. Their eyes glow, their mouth glows, and this crashing surf sound of noise and stuff resolves into a chorus of voices that says, brother, sister, icon, avatar, weapon, vessel, you are here for us. You are here because of us. You have carried us to this moment from our destruction to redeem us. Fluvis is here. Finish what we started. Finish him. Save us. And then Kiln is back in their own selves. I was still really proud of it. Oh, forged in the kiln, which is the other. Yeah, I forged in the kiln, which is the thing I thought of in the shower. I was like, oh fuck yes. Anyway, so yeah, we've been brought together, forged in this kiln, and so on and so forth. So yeah. Patting myself on the back, kind of angry that I was so wrapped up in getting the games rolling that I forgot to hit record. Anyway, so that happened. Kiln now has a little migraine spot that tells them exactly where to go to get to Fluvis, and Alex is fighting back against the. I have a follow-up question about that here in just a second. Alex is fighting back against Fluvis's bots trying to retake the insects that the temple has sort of taken over. We got some of that by the placement of the various temple artifacts. And going around, Tahi has called in or asked for help from Sync down in the temple, which is awkward since there's a lot of weird crap going on up here. Joe is flying through the air towards Powertronic, who he basically taunted down to get him within reach for a showdown, and Met's right there in the midst of all that hot mess. Surge is incoming. Elliot is incoming. Everything is coming to a head. Fluvis nowhere in sight, but that may be less of an issue than it was previously. Question I had for Alex as a follow-up thing. You've gotten everybody, invoke your authority. You've got all this stuff kind of in place. You're using these in the placement of the various stuff to deal with the sort of bots trying to retake and glom onto the insects and stuff like that. What I'm curious about is like what are you trying to do with that? Are you just trying to defend your control over the insects? Do you want to counterattack the bots? Is this become some sort of internal thing? Do you just want to take down the whole mess and let the insects and robots sort of mutually self-destruct each other because then that takes a whole section off the field, or what?
This is the same thing from this is what I was talking about from last week, where I basically want to push Fluvis into concentrating more of his power here to overcome this resistance or distortion or noise. like if you broadcast 2 radio stations on the same frequency, what happens is the one that has more power behind it will drown out the other one. So I'm basically saying, hey, I'm the big broadcast antenna right now. Your bots are eventually going to go offline if I keep this up. How badly do you want this? And I'm trying to kind of lure him into committing more resource here.
Okay. All right. In that case, what I'm going to ask you to do, I think this is the most appropriate move. Let me just make sure I'm not making that up because I misremember. Oh yeah. Okay. What I would like to do is have you unleash your powers because you're changing the environment. You're changing the literally the landscape of the thing. Woo! Love it. Double 5s and a 3. Gorgeous. Okay, so yeah, you're essentially changing the, I'm gonna say, psychic landscape to constrain Fluvis and force them down a funnel. Yeah, and envisioning that however you see fit, but basically the bugs are sort of counter-infecting the bots. Plus all the broadcast noise from the stuff that you've got around the temples and stuff like that is just making things. It's a noisy restaurant for someone with ADHD. I know what that's like. Cool. Joe, flying through midair towards Powertronic. Move that we haven't used yet for the entire game. We're finally going to use, I think. I'm not sure I don't think we ever use it. And it's not on that sheet. I haven't used it in so long. Team mechanics. When you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, add 2 to the team pool. Who's leading? That's a really interesting question.
King Joe.
King Joe? All right. I guess it's an interesting question that has an easy answer. When you enter battle against a dangerous foe as a team, add 2 to the pool. If the leader has influence over every teammate, add another team. I don't even know.
I have influence over Sync, Much, Alex, Kiln.
It's everybody.
Is that everybody?
That's everybody.
And Joe. I don't have influence over Joe. Fucker will never listen to me. Oh, wait. All right.
I'm influenced by all of them too, so.
Yes. Leader has influence over every teammate, add another team. If everyone has the same purpose in the fight, add another team. Joe? What's your purpose? You are the leader. You get to say first. There's a potential.
My purpose is to defend the city. The temple city community.
Yes. Okay. Met. I feel like there's a potential here, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think there's a potential here for people to be working, not at cross purposes, but not really to have the same goal necessarily.
I suspect.
My goal is to prevent the destruction of the Earth.
I'm gonna leave that one for interpretation as to whether or not that actually counts as a deal breaker once I hear what everybody else says. How about Sync? Who may be muted or thinking very deeply.
Look good in front of Gothwich.
Or maybe he didn't hear me because I broke up for him again or something. Sync, what is your purpose in the fight? Did we lose Mike?
No, it's still there.
Can you hear us, Mike?
I don't know why. For some reason, I thought you were asking James. Until my name was actually said. Anyway.
I kept saying Sync, but I should have been. So, Mike, what is Sync's purpose in the fight?
Take down Fluvis.
Take down Fluvis? Okay. All right. Cool. Kiln.
Now would be a really great time for me to be silent for 30 seconds.
No.
Yeah, take down Fluvis.
And Alex?
I'm defending the city as well.
Is it nitpicky for me to say that you guys don't have the same goals?
We defend the city by taking down Fluvis.
I mean, yeah. I'm thinking of it.
You could argue they're overall the same goals. I could also see there are they might lead to decisions that are slightly different.
I feel like there's a way to like. The only reason I consider
The
something.
one thing we're going to get from this is not worth the 5 minutes we take talking about it. So.
Yeah, I think of it's interesting in the sense of like, well, if I was a tactical person, I could like pull your team apart by like luring you with one goal and the other goal. You know what? Ain't worth it. But I think that's why the question is even worth asking at some point in time. If it's team members, does anybody mistrust the leader of the team? Speak up or forever hold your peace.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's probably too late for that. Is your team as ill-prepared or off balance? Yeah, no. I think we're fine there. We're all fine. How are you? Okay, so that's team back in, which is cool because we burned through quite a bit, but we have some back in there now. Joe, you may proceed with sailing through the air. What are you doing? Like, what is...
My goal is to... actually... So my goal is to do a direct engage and punch Powertronics lights out. I have something that I want to do with one of the results.
Okay.
And I want to make sure so much that it happens that I'm actually going to invoke the in a China shop.
Oh, okay. Let me look at that real. Well, can you link it there
Yes.
for the thing?
Uh-huh.
Thank you. In a China shop, when you directly engage a threat, you can cause significant collateral damage to your environment to choose an additional option, even on a miss. Okay. So all I'm asking for is that in the post combat analysis, post battle analysis, there's damage to like the temple / city. I mean, something that you're going to have to repair. You know what I'm saying? You know, cracking a couple trees is fine, but like this is something that is going to like go, oh crap, we're gonna. So whatever that looks like, whether you're breaking a particularly important piece of temple that was sitting there right next to Alex over Powertronics' head or whatever. So.
And hey, if some of the environment is considered the robots that are running along with Powertronic, you know.
That will also do, yeah. It's just a little bit easier when you're in a city where people are like, hey, that's my coffee shop. When you directly engage a threat, you can custom choose an additional option even on a miss. Lovely. Okay, so directly engage, danger roll. I'm assuming you're not afraid right now, so.
I have no conditions at the moment. I'm not even angry. I am not angry. I took angry off on my last advance after I had my kiss with Matt.
Because there was kissing.
Oh,
So
that's true.
hopefully that won't cause a problem here in the battle.
And you mean you didn't take insecure?
I mean, apparently it was good kissing. Okay. Hit it like you mean it. Make sure you maintain the party average of an 11 on every hit. Hey, look at that! I called it. All right.
Hey, I rolled the 4.
Well, okay, that's fair. Thank you for that.
You still hit.
Give me that one fail of the night. All right. So directly engage. I believe that is
Engage.
resist or avoid their blows. Take something from them. Create an opportunity for allies. You get to pick 3. Which is horrifying. So, you know, get right on that.
You want to know what they are?
Yes, please. That would be helpful.
Okay. I will. Am I the only one attacking Powertronic?
Well,
Everyone
I mean,
else is like, Loomis, we gotta get Loomis. Loomis.
Alex is near there. Met is right near you.
Okay, so I am going to I will resist or avoid their blows. They're about to do the big. I'm adjusting the power beam on my chest thing.
Yeah.
So I will.
They were charging up the chest thing. Yeah.
Right. So I will. That's one is I will avoid that. 2, I will create an opportunity for allies.
Okay.
And 3, what I want to take from them is somewhere in the course of this, either Before, during, or after the punch,
Okay.
I shout out at him, "You are no hero."
Okay.
I want to take that whole I'm the hero, I'm the good guy framework, justification framework completely out of his head.
Okay. Oh, I love that. Is God, this game. We've run a lot of this game, and I'm ready to take a break from running this game. But my God, this game. So much love. So much love. Well, clearly, then the condition that he needs to take is hopeless. That works for me. Do you like smash him down to the ground kind of a thing? Is like a double-fisted overhand kind of thing? Grab his leg and whip him around and.
I was thinking of kind of the leading with a punch, maybe right to that chest plate.
Love it. Love it. All right. So yeah, he actually, yeah, he's got momentum up. He's got, jets that'll keep him up and, stabilizers, that kind of stuff. But there's just so much momentum coming down to him that you knock him just into the ground and he bounces once before he manages to get himself under control. Lands eventually in that 3-point, superhero stance, but after bouncing a couple times, it lacks a certain amount of dignity. And he kind of he actually he's he lets out this really short, sharp laugh, and he's like, "Hero, I'm Powertronic," and he twists something on his little chest plate thing, and he starts glowing out of literally every crack, crevice, orifice, everything of the suit. Roddy, you're seeing this from up on the hill through the thing. This is his oh shit maneuver. This is his the time I took down the Crimson King maneuver. It is. Many message boards talk about how incredibly irresponsible it is because it basically blasts everything in a 70-yard radius in all directions indiscriminately. It's there is no I in team, but there are 6 eyes in fuck it, I don't care how big the room is, I cast Fireball.
Eyes, 1, 2.
It's 6, trust me.
Okay. Okay.
There's no I in team, but there are 6 in fuck it, I don't care how big the room is, I cast Fireball. Anyway, that is this thing. It is horrifying. It has never failed to take down anybody, anywhere nearby, and also, although it's been covered up, hospitalize certain allies. He has the good sense not to use it in cities, but apparently doesn't give a damn right now. You're probably too far away to do anything, but you can tell people what the hell's going on. And that lets you help other team people. But nearest there, and certainly within the blast radius, Met, Alex, Joe, many NPCs on both sides. What do you do?
Well, I am gonna. Well, I've got.
With that said, Gothwitch is right next to you, so you
Yeah,
guys
I've got
could do
Gothridge
stuff.
next to me. I've got Tahi screaming in my ear.
Yep.
I'm seeing Joe take on Powertronic while Powertronic is doing his overload maneuver.
Yep.
And I think is probably just it'll be yeah, Tahi, hold on a second. And then just tap to switch over to Joe's channel or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And just be like, hey Joe, that's his overload mode. You've got he is gonna kick the shit out of you. But it only lasts for a couple of minutes before it just completely runs down all of his power. So don't get hit.
I'm going to say that that's probably I would say that probably goes to most people, not necessarily specifically to Joe, but Okay. Alex is doing the hacking counter thing, mind blasty thing on Fluve. You've done that.
Just as a reminder, I do have 2 hold on before we get started. So, like, if we need to take this guy and deal with him, I've got options.
Cool. What is that? Does that work like helping, or what does that do? Or it lets you? Thank you. I can't remember what the hold was for. Oh, redirect, cross the distance, stun them, ignore, blah, 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 blah. Lovely. Yes. Ignore all harm from one of their attacks. Convenient. Matt hasn't rolled anything yet. So, hey, Matt, what do you want to do about this? Because you hear him say all that. That's the overload maneuver. It's going to take you out. Don't get hit, which is, 2 great tastes that do not taste great together. What do you do? Basically, he's going to turn himself into a walking bomb.
Yeah, no, I was just trying to read back to my logo to see how that works. Okay. Basically, I'd like to use defend,
Okay.
and I would like to bury him. I
like
want
get him underground.
Yeah, or something behind a wall, something where it's objects, not people, taking the blast damage.
You do have gravity thing, so you
Yeah,
could make him like sink down deep.
Yes, or
Yep.
I could push him way up in the sky, which might be easier. But
True.
that's
Straight
so
to the core.
basic. Yeah, yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to do is use my gravity powers to, whichever
Deal with him in
seems
some
like
in
it's
some
gonna
way, shape, or
work
form.
for it. Yeah. Either shove him underground or shove him up into the air, where it's sort of like the bringing the nuclear missile.
The trick of it, of course, will be the timing. If you can get him like very light, you still got to get him launched, which is the trick. A little risky, certainly, especially given your proximity. But why don't you give me a defend and we'll see where we're at. I like it. What the holy? Whoa! Holy moly! That there is a roll, ladies and gentlemen.
That's the shining the fingernails on the shirt.
Damn. I don't think I've ever seen I haven't seen the Kapow result on the 15 before. That is quite something. That's pretty. That is pretty. All right, defend then is obviously everybody else is safe. Do you want him up in the air? Do you want him behind something? You pick where he ends up. If you want the least amount of damage, you probably launch him straight up. The only other thing I could think of, and it's because I was misremembering your powers, I was thinking of like putting him in some kind of bubble, but I don't think that doesn't really track for what you do. But that's crazy. Keep them safe.
Is there a spot where there's where there's other bad things that he can take out with him, but not Surge or Alid?
It's not a huge blast. It's like 70 meters. So if you just knock him back about 70 meters, I mean, honestly, if you make him light, I'm picturing this thing where you like basically like make him light, and then like as you're running up to him and just basically like double foot, like just kick him in the chest and launch him back up and out like at a 45-degree angle. If you launch him back up into the crowd of bugs and bots, that's
kind of what I want to do.
Well, okay.
I was thinking if you buried him in the ground, that's an awful lot of blowback on him.
Yeah.
But
if you want to take out a lot of the,
I imagine he's going to be I think he's going to fall from the sky after this, because I imagine this takes almost all of his power.
Yeah. Yeah, so having him up, and that still
Yeah.
sends him back kind of in Surge's direction, but it's not like he's going that fast. And he's pretty easy to
Right.
spot when he's like I don't know, pulsing. He's like a pulsar. You know, he's kind of easy to spot. Okay, so Cool.
Is Gollum?
Golem, but yeah.
We lost
Golem.
Golem.
Golem is effectively Fluvus at this point in time. I mean, we're looking for where Golem is.
Right.
That's the thing. He hasn't been spotted. He
Okay,
was with
I-
these guys, and now he's not. And
Okay.
Very
That would be
literally,
target one if we knew where he was.
yeah,
very literally, the end of last meeting was Roddy Killen and Gothwich running up. Nice job. Hey, where's Golem? I don't see him out there. And looking at each other and not knowing where he
yeah.
is.
And then now none but one know where he is because Killen has a very good idea where he is right now.
Or
Compass,
at least
like
your headache does.
your headache knows where it is. Okay.
So Kapow is very appropriate for this.
Yeah, indeed, kapow, straight up into the air, and then a burst of sad robots and bugs. You have a defend option here. You can add team to the pool, take influence over somebody you protect, or clear a condition.
I don't have.
A condition.
I don't think I have any conditions. I don't have any conditions, and
You could I will offer you just to give you a slightly more complicated thing. I will say you could take influence over. Crap, the silverback. I can't remember his name right now. Went right out of my head just now.
Grogar?
Grogun.
I think I would rather.
Grogun.
Yeah.
I think I would rather throw a team to the pool.
Okay.
Because that's more versatile.
That's cool. I was just like the idea because you guys have been you and Grogun's goals kind of work at cross purposes. I thought it'd be funny if you had influence over him, so I figured I'd throw it out there. But that is fine. All right, another team in the pool. Kick him back up. So yeah, interference, Alex, grows even more because now you're getting painful eradication of some of the recipient locations for Fluvus's presence. So just adding to the chaos and nonsense and resistance and all that stuff that is going on. Roddy, what are you doing?
All right. That's a big boom.
Fluvus is doing like a combination pulsar star and lost kids helium balloon floating up into the sky over the state fair kind of maneuver. Probably not intentionally so.
Powertronic.
What did I say? Fluvus? Powertronic. Yeah, sorry. Powertronic's like, yeah, he's floating up and away and pulsing as he goes. So
same difference at this
Yeah.
point. Anyway, and I also still have Tahi, who needed me specifically.
well, yeah. Yeah. She didn't sound desperate. She sounded she sounded intense. Read into that what you will. And if you can't come, you can't come. She didn't like say, I absolutely have to have you now or I'm dead kind of thing. But she certainly seemed quite emphatic.
All right. Well, at this point, I don't feel like I am going to be making any large effect onto the battle. So let's go see what you needed.
Okay. All right. Are you going? Are you going down there? This is Gothwich.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, all right, I'll go.
Okay.
Find out what Tahi needs.
Right, but faster, okay? Because this is like, all right. So hold still. She kind of loops one of her arms around you, and then like around your shoulders, and then takes her hand, so you're in kind of a ring of her arms, but on the side, like you're still like side hip to side hip kind of thing. Close your eyes. Not because this is scary, but I just don't want you to see. Somehow you still manage to see the sparkles with your eyes closed. But in Killen, you see this from the outside. She basically like goes all white and mother of pearl glittery for a second, and the two of them are sort of enveloped in a bubble, which then sinks down through the ground without really interacting with the ground. Like the ground is undisturbed, but they kind of go straight down into the hill. So that happened. I will briefly ask, what do you do? Because now you're alone in the bunker. But you know where Fluvis is probably. And they're getting closer. And they're heading for the temple. But like kind of on the backside sort of. Or at least that's what it feels like.
So they're kind of using the bugs and Paratronic as a diversion.
Yes. Yes, they either want to come in from behind or they're actually trying to get into the inside of the temple. You would guess, based on where they're coming in from, they're basically using Powertronic as a distraction. Either so
Yeah,
they could
that's
flank
fair.
or something. Yeah.
He's good at distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Team to the pool, by the way.
I did. I put it should be up to 5.
Okay.
It was 4 and now it's 5. Yes.
Cool.
Is this a call for reinforcements thing? Head straight for them? Warn everybody? Grab Roddy's airstrike button? I don't know.
I'm going to call to Alex and ask if they can get any eyes over on the backside where I'm kind of sensing Fluvis to be.
I'll send some drones over.
Yeah, you've got a few probably in the area, but they haven't picked up anything at this point. I'm going to ask for a freak roll again. I think for unleash your powers. Let's perceive, unless you want to assess and get some bonuses out of it.
That was an 8.
All right, an 8. Okay, so that's probably I'm fine with sort of unstable. Will only last for a little bit. You do not see Fluvis, but thank God that you were sent to the museum and you heard the boring person giving you a lecture during the museum tour on negative space. Because while you don't know where Fluvis is, you know where there's absolutely no readouts whatsoever. Like you're getting nothing. You're getting it's just like the moose.
How could they be jamming us if they don't know we're coming?
Yeah. Wow. You know, that's a lot of Star Wars references in the last 2 sessions. I just want to say that's anyway. But yeah, it's possible that you wouldn't necessarily really recognize it for what it is, except for the fact that having gone back and sort of replayed what had happened with the moose, you're like, hey, I can't figure out where it is, but I can definitely see where it isn't or anything else is at either.
That's fair.
Okay.
One quick question. Is any member of the HHL pursuing or do they have any like flying craft that they've been using to get here?
Powertronic kind of jacked with a lot of the HHL when they tried to interfere with all the stuff that he was doing at the tower. So there might be like a Quinjet. I'm just air quoting, a Quinjet style of thing, like the kind that you used to get away from the tower in the first place, incoming, but they are lagging well behind unless you have some, tell me more about why you're asking, but that's my initial response is they're not nearly as...
I just want to know where on the timeline I could conceivably hack that thing for my purposes.
Oh, the Quinjet? Probably it's pretty far out. I would say probably western coastline.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to report back and say probably back there. And hey, Joe, maybe you should get in here and do your thing.
I can't. Yeah, Alex can't quite pinpoint them, but there is definitely something weird over there for sure. It's You can confirm the white hot point of discomfort in your head, and there is that urgent kind of whispering, Kiln of the. It's like, what are you waiting for? You know where they are. We know where they are. Where he is. Go. There's that kind of thing happening.
I was already in my head I said it.
Oh, did I?
I was kind of telling Alex as I went
good.
there myself as a way to alert them
Everybody else,
and by extension the rest of the team that.
Gotcha. I am
that.
I am much clearer now on.
It made sense in my head.
I think either I missed or you didn't actually say that one part of in the head thing.
No, I didn't say it.
That's okay. That's totally fine. I need to pull up. Oh, that doesn't want to open for me. Oh, there it is. Oops. Remind me later. I said remind me later. Much later. Oh, for Pete's sakes. Go away. Sorry, I got to open up a file here and it's being persnickety with me. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. All right. Doesn't matter. All right. So you're headed that way. You've alerted everybody. Alex has, sort of double checked the readout and also said, "Hey, Joe." What did you say to Joe specifically?
You need to get in here and do your thing.
Do you? I'm going to assume that is a little bit clearer than it sounds like. Where this is happening over here.
Well, it's super vague.
Oh, it is super vague
for the audience. It's vague for the audience. The audience doesn't know.
But I already ate a hearty breakfast.
What?
It's time for brunch, motherfucker. Get in here.
So Powertronic is floating off into the air. Alex is kind of vaguing it up a little bit, but apparently there's something else going on in addition to that. So Joe, do something.
And yeah, I mean, it really like get in here, but yeah.
Yeah. Alex, you're outside, aren't you? You're kind of out where Met and Joe are to a certain extent, correct?
I don't think so. No, I've always been kind of out in the temple.
Oh, so in my head, you were out with Joe. Okay.
Oh, no. I never go outside. I know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. All right. So you were telling Joe, get in here or get...
Oh, yeah, get in here.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Now it makes more sense to me. I don't know if it makes any more sense to Joe, but this is the thing.
Joe makes a loud, impatient whoofing sound from his mouth and goes bounding, leaping over to the temple area where Alex is.
So the battle is basically going on here, kind of in the background. That the comic book shot of the battle and stuff is, gorillas, whooping up on the robots and the bots and the bugs, and it's all just kind of chaos. It's a little bit unclear even sometimes, like who's hitting. Like the gorillas don't seem to have too much of a problem, sort of accidentally hitting the bugs either. Like they're just really, but the focus for the bots, at least, appears to be on the bugs because of the mind control, battle kind of going on there. The command, conquer, corrupt thing going on. Powertronic's going up in the air. Met's still out here. I'm just kind of taking tally in my head. So some of what had been going down in the temple, Alex, I should have been telling you about. I didn't realize that you were down there. But Tahi's been sort of going through the images, like how those images and everything, like the history for Kiln and everything like that, we're kind of going through, cycled through this entire like sort of history of the world kind of thing, and she's been that all stuff has been sort of replaying in the air above some of the central parts of the apparatuses, I don't know, in the main room there, but not in any kind of order. She's shuffling through, like it's literally like shuffling a deck kind of thing. They're just coming up and popping up all over the place. Sync and Gothwitch kind of float down out of the ceiling in a ball and down to the surface, and the ball kind of goes away. And as the ball is sort of dissolving down from the top down, Gothwitch, who was kind of hazy inside the bubble anyway, resumes her normal Gothwitchy look before you get a really good look at whatever it is that whatever she actually looks like. Tahi quickly motions, or acknowledge. I shouldn't say motions you over, but sort of just acknowledges you as you're laying, because you're not very far away, and she kind of indicates all these images flying by up above, and she says, "I'm not exactly doing this, nor can I make sense of it, but the temple seems to be trying to, the temple's memory seems to be trying to determine a best course of action, what to do, or even make sense of all of this, and it's processing everything."
We're definitely slaving that into the Whopper for a little computational boost.
Just to overwhelm Fluvis, is that the idea, or?
Like if the temple is trying to run battle simulations, like guess what? We got a satellite link back to Aegis HQ.
Oh, I see. Which is awesome, and by all means do that. She went for a little bit more, because Aegis is not going to be the first thing that Tahi thinks of. I need someone who can understand all the timing.
Great, Roddy's good at that.
Yeah.
That is
By the way,
literally
boys,
my
I put a Jamboard up which shows like kind of where everybody is at the moment, and you can adjust that if you like.
Thank you. Let me look at. Thank you. I got lost. Where is the stupid Discord? Is it down here at the? Oh, look at all these images coming up. I am going to bury you. Bots, Powertronic, Bug, Battlefield, Joey, Met, Joey, Kiln, I'm going to say over here, Alex, Roddy, yeah. Kiln kind of over here, back here. Let's crouch it a little bit, Kiln, Fluvis. That's a good tool, I like this. There we go. Blasting off again! There we go. Lovely. I don't want to mess with this too much, but it's lovely. Anyway. Beautiful. I mean, it's better than any drawing I'm going to do. All right. So what she says is kind of directly to Roddy is like, can you try to? I feel like you might be able to make sense of this, or you have a better chance than I do.
Yeah.
If you agree, she basically motions to the big recuperation bed that Joe's body typically resides in. I can make that work as a receptacle.
Okay.
As a outlet? I guess outlet's the best word. I like Sync's response. Oh, okay.
Well, there is a lot of hypotheticals here, and a lot of this seeming like it's going to involve my brain.
Yeah, Yeah.
Is it gonna turn me into a monkey?
I mean, yes, there are a lot of hypotheticals that potentially involve your brain. I think, okay. I want to get Sync's thing up here.
I don't want to be a gorilla. Then Joe will be my king.
You have the weirdest. I look at everybody else's stats and then I see yours. You have the weirdest stats.
Yeah,
Which-
the weirdest by being normal.
Well, yeah, 1-1-1-1. It's just, yeah. I mean, I gotta respect it. It's
I worked hard for that stat line.
it's a level of consistency you just have to admire. Because-
for Sync.
Because of what now. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Because honestly, there's so many other good reasons. I want to begin this by opening with a take a powerful blow.
Just for like,
Just as it activates, just to see what it does to you.
okay,
Is that cool? Are we cool with that?
yeah, sure.
I feel like you would be cool with that. So yeah, she's like, okay, I'm not exactly sure what this is gonna do, but and like halfway through what she's saying, she flips it on. I hear that because the beep went off there in the middle. It could be worse. It could be better, but it could be worse. Take a powerful blow on a 7-9. Lash out verbally, provoking a teammate to foolhardy action, or take advantage of your influence to inflict a condition on somebody. Your opposition gets an opportunity, or you struggle past the pain. Mark 2 conditions. Because basically, yeah. Crap. What am I thinking of? The Blade of... Oh, there's some show that I was watching. I can't remember what it is now. Something about the Blade of Infinity or something like that. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. The Thousand-Edged Blade of Infinity or something like that. Anyway, it's a lot, Roddy. All at once comes pouring into your head. Not just memory and storage and stuff for 10,000 years, but or more, 20,000 years. So you're starting to get a sense that the estimations on the amount of time that's encompassed by the time from, Fluvis's ancients to Kiln's ancients to today is a lot broader than the time frame that a lot of people tend to throw around. You're kind of getting all of that, but you're also getting theoretical suppositions about that stuff. Okay. So, what does that do with regards to what's your option there on the 7-9?
That's very easy.
That's very easy. Okay.
Yes, it's very easy. I am now in the chair. I am hooked up, and now I am getting a whole bunch of feedback. I probably can't see because of all the stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I could probably still talk with the outside world.
Yeah. I don't think there isn't necessarily a lot hooked up to you. It's all being done kind of.
Wait, no, I get it. But
okay, yeah.
There's a lot mentally going on.
Yeah, for sure.
No, I am trying to frame this specifically in a way so that, that way when it's just like Joe comes in, I don't get to see him, and I can say something mean like, why does all of Joe's weird gorilla tech have to be so painful? Because I want to, I'm gonna burn my influence over Joe.
And make him feel guilty?
I don't know, make him feel something. Angry, guilty, what have you.
Joe gets to pick. Because we're feeling generous today. You lash out verbally.
Whatever you feel like.
Inflict a condition on a thing. Lovely.
That would certainly make me angry.
What's that?
That could certainly make me angry.
Oh, because he's getting on your gorilla tech? Sure. I mean, it could really make you. It could really make you just about anything, really. I mean, guilty because he's strapped into your chair, or it's more of like a bed.
No, angry because he's strapped into my chair or my bed.
That's fine. I'm good with whatever.
Let's just all be real. That just first emotion is always angry.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. All right, so you what for you, Roddy? This starts to resolve into patterns because time is a thing, and for you, it's a gigantic set of Tinker Toys. So what the temple, which is definitely not an AI, but kind of an AI, kind of trying to figure a thing out, call it an expert system, if not an artificial intelligence, is trying to figure out is what is the best thing to do right now? What is the point where everything gets resolved? What is the best thing to do? Based on everything, right? So that becomes sort of the question before you is how do you see, like, where is there that one point where an action can happen and fix all the things? Okay. I'm not sure if you have like the perfect move for that or anything like that. Otherwise, I'm likely to have it go back to like a freak. Say
Isn't that what I'm supposed to be looking for?
Yeah, it is. But you don't have influence over Tahi, and Roddy totally does. So, and she's been, because she's actually put a lot of mental thought into like what makes Roddy particularly noteworthy because of the fact that he does have influence, and because it's a bit of a question, because it was actually the first question she asked about him is like, what is the point of you? And she's come to the realization, she's boiled that down, simplified it, if you will, down to he understands the timing of things. And that seems to be like the thing. And it may not be the same kind of question that he's trying to resolve versus the same kind of question that you're trying to resolve. You're trying to resolve like how to fix everything, with your future. This question that the temple's asking is a different kind of question. How do all the bad stop? Which may not actually solve your problem at all. So, or it might change your problem. Who knows? Anyway,
All right.
so
So
I feel like it's unleash your powers, or it could be. So
I haven't unleashed my powers. If you want to like go like a bit like more a long thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have Are You Watching Closely, which at least the outcomes kind of sound like what you're going for.
Let me look at that. I am.
Okay.
You've piqued my curiosity. I like that.
Yeah, the trigger is not quite right.
The trigger is not quite right unless you are doing it somehow through the temple. Like you're tied into the temple and you reach back through this like sort of timeline interfacing, or kind of not to invoke my favorite companion that unfortunately is one of Dave's less favorite companions, but there's a scene in a Doctor Who episode where there's like this whole tangled skein of time that's sort of a tree of threads, and somebody reaches into it and can basically plucks, can kind of reach into all the various threads and sort of sort out the various moments of important decisions. Within bounds, yeah, you could do that kind of thing sort of through the temple a little bit, and that might be really, really cool. So I'm actually, and as long, I mean, you could be doing it to mislead, distract, or trick people. So again, you're just using the temple to do it.
Yeah.
It's just a question of you, doing this and kind of holding some of this in abeyance to go. okay, this is the moment where I create an opportunity. This is going to be the moment where I expose a weakness, or confuse them, or something like that. I actually have a confuse them thing that would work really well right now. Anyway, yeah, go ahead and roll it. I like it. We haven't used it.
All right. I also have a +1 forward from last session
Go for it.
because that was from assisting a team member.
Cool.
So let's do the thing.
Are you watching closely? Oh, that's not what I wanted.
And I can
Lovely.
team myself up to get another hit, or to get that up to 10.
Well, either that or Alex can certainly spend a team because they are tied right into all of this stuff.
I get bonuses for doing it, so.
Okay. All right. You team yourself? What does that mean?
When I spend team selfishly,
Ah, gotcha.
I get to clear conditions or mark potential.
All right. Well, team yourself then. How is it selfish? Like, what do you have to do for it to be selfish?
I have to do it. What does the thing say? When you act selfishly, say how your actions ignore or insult the team.
Ignore
So-
or insult the team. Okay.
Yeah, and so I am just blocking out anything else that's coming in right now, and I'm just like, whatever, guys, I'm gonna figure this out.
And you just kind of like do a deep dive. That sounds like the perfect time for Fluvis to start doing some stuff. Okay, so actually Fluvis and Powertronic both. All right. So, Kiln, over the temple, through the woods, to Fluvis's jaw you go. Or something. Do you like paint me the scene here? Are you just waiting in a clearing when he comes out of the trees, or do you kind of like land on him out of nowhere, or is it two samurai charge? Is it like the samurai charge and the with the blowing grass, or what is this? What do you two meeting look like?
I'll go for the in the clearing when clearing that Fluvis passes through. Hello?
Sorry, I was muted. I didn't realize I was muted. I had my mic up there for a second. So like you're kind of like you're waiting for him, or what?
I don't think the voices in my head would allow me to wait.
Okay.
I like the idea of sort of samurai Jack out of the sky on top.
No,
I was thinking more Usagi Yojimbo, but to each their own.
I wouldn't say kind of surprise attack like that.
But yeah, letting him
I
see
think
it.
probably racing into a clearing that he's already in.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Confronting.
So this is not particularly easy because Fluvis is, well, first of all, Fluvis looks like that. Also, they're not. He's not without his own like sort of little swarm of defenses and stuff like that. Now, I'm not. You don't have to worry about sort of necessarily taking them out, but they are obstacles. So he has managed to accumulate a small number of like the bugs, usually the smaller ones and stuff that are sort of in almost like a swarm around him, and a a group of the bots. I'm not worried about you fighting these things, but they're in the way.
Oh, then I have a solution to that.
Do you?
I mean, I have an idea for a solution for that.
Okay, what's that?
Going with the racing in and kind of as either he notices me or I notice him or both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
What was it you said? You know, there's no I in team, but 6 eyes. 6 eyes, and I don't care
Yeah.
how
Big
Yeah,
the room is. Could I cast Fireball? Yeah.
I cast Fireball.
Okay.
In the cinematic sense of little bots and bugs all exploding around him
Okay.
as he turns to see. But that depends if you make me roll or not.
Well, let's see how it goes, really. And I don't think it's necessarily going to go poorly, but so I'm combining these sort of two roles. Overcoming an obstacle is all this crap that's in the way of him, and then we'll get to like directly engage. But because he's not really a simple bad guy, he's more complicated bad guy. So I like it, and it's based on Freak, which probably works to your advantage in this case. So why don't you give me and unleash your powers to overcome the obstacle of the bots and bugs? And this is that Fireball sort of kill meteor strike thing. This look like lovely. Okay, so temporary. The options for the overcome kind of thing for this is either going to be it's temporary or unstable, which certainly makes sense in the chaotic nature of the thing, or it's well and truly overcome, but you're taking a condition to cement it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which would be you. I mean, in this case, it makes a lot of cinematic sense to me because if you're cementing it, it's because you're pushing harder and you're kind of taking a little bit of there's some strain there of like really heavily exerting yourself to really cement this. I don't want the bugs to be a factor right now. I don't want to have to deal with them. I don't want the bots to be a factor right now. They're done.
Okay, I was going to say it'd make perfect sense for it to be temporary with.
Well, yeah, I'm fine with that too. I'm saying it could go either way.
Yeah, I think more, every good boss battle has the boss getting down to a phase and summoning minions again.
There you go. All right, so you definitely blast them away, and you kind of land. There's a big fire explosion kind of thing, and you're really kind of either walking out of that or rising up out of it or whatever. The area between you and Fluvis is open and clear, at least for a few seconds, and you've got your opening for what does you going against Fluvis, all of you, what does the kiln going against Fluvis look like as you get your opening there?
I'd say straightforward kind of run into attack and try to strike him. No matter how many times it takes. But the first step is going to be the close distance and hit.
Charge.
Yeah.
And do all the whatever voices, spirits that were talking to him earlier kind of ghostly overlap that charging figure so you can see like a little bit taller head and a little bit different arms?
Or kind of a
I
series
muted
of
again.
ghosts kind of fanning out
Behind
all those
you, like
images fanning
yeah,
out behind.
like a phalanx of ghosts all coming down to like a vanguard coming down to a point where Kiln is at. I like that. That's really cool. All right, give me a directly engaged. See what we got. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Come on.
I'm
I'm the only one who's rolled poorly today.
All right. Dragging the average up to a 12 by main force. On a 10 plus, pick 2. Resist or avoid their foes. Take something from them. Create an opportunity for your allies. Impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition.
I'm gonna say resist or avoid their blows.
That sounds like a very good idea.
Yeah, a little bit. And then take something from them.
Okay.
Although I am not entirely sure what. I feel like take their mobility or something.
Right now,
I don't
Alex.
think they're gonna go anywhere right now.
Right now, Alex is sort of trying to assault them and drive them into a singular location.
Take their focus.
Yeah, or like get them, drive them down into this even more. So that's less about the physical attack as it is about all of this psychic storage that you have like locked in here, sort of assaulting them, getting them to sort of flinch and draw. Like the idea of like a turtle that draws itself into the shell when it's under attack, kind of thing. Getting him to draw in even more under not just a physical but also kind of a psychic onslaught of all these
making him
voices
focus
within you
on what's going on here and not
and
his
pull in
outreach.
more to the golem figure for the sake of and less out of the other, less into all the other places that they might be.
Consolidation of power.
Indeed. That defensive thing. Okay, so yeah, they rock that. So you come up with the thing, and there's like this massive kind of swirling cyclone kind of attack, like effect around the two of you when you clash, and very anime kind of thing. The big swirl of air. It's when it finally clears, like Flubus is blocking. You've got the sword blow, but and they brace themselves, but all the earth around him has cracked from the force of your blow, and he's got this real like snarl on his face of just that actually required, that took something out of him. That like really freaking, well, it annoyed him if nothing else. And there's that momentary pause of like no kind of action whatsoever, and then somehow he grabs your sword. And and kind of whips it sideways. You're still kind of hanging on to it, and you go flying sideways. He leaps up, and you're expecting kind of a Joe-like attack, where he leaps down on top of you, and that's not what happens. He goes up and comes straight back down, basically where he was at with the cracked earth and everything, and just craters the earth. Now it throws you back a little bit more because again that cratered kind of waving earth thing ripples out through you, throws you back even further into the undergrowth and the forest, the open, this what was an open, clearing or anything like that is basically a crater at this point in time, and just craters down through the thing. The ground kind of gives way, and you realize that he's probably over some of the openings underneath in the what Joe's referred to as sort of the city underneath the ground, and has cracked through the surface of the thing. And about when you're realizing that the bots and the bugs are back in your, coming straight at you and coming back at you, you probably got time to shout some kind of warning about what's happening before you're going to be very, very busy. What do you shout, and who are you shouting at? I'm saying on comms and stuff like that.
I call out to Tahi.
Okay.
Because if anyone can, has the resources to defend the temple, it basically starts with her.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Tahi doesn't relay that so much as like verbally, so much as simply draw the correct attention. So, Sync, you feel Tahi sort of grab, like if you were wearing goggles, it feels like she had like sort of gripped onto the front of your goggles and pulled your head to the side and pulled it forward a little bit to sort of draw your attention over to a certain location. And you're seeing like the roof above part of the city outside of the temple crashing down, and this Golem Fluvis combination falling down through the ceiling down into the city, that kind of thing. Joe, you're just getting into the temple room, and she's doing the same. It is with you. It isn't so much a psychic thing as much as some of the images above the apparatus kind of flash and stuff and show you this thing. So you just have about time for to hear Roddy bitching about all of the problems with Gorilla Tech and why why it always has to be so painful and crude and primitive, blah blah blah, and get a little bit of annoyed and defensive about the thing, and then Tahi's like, Joseph, and then the image shifts and you can see out in the city this thing crashing down, and one big chunk of rock that is definitely not a big chunk of rock and something to deal with. So Joe's aware. Roddy knows where things are at. He's got his role to... Did you make your roll? You made your roll. So you've got 2 of these little things to mess with him for. So you guys are on that. And... What did I say? 3? You got 3? Oh, because you pushed it up to a 10. Gotcha. Never mind. Matt. Powertronic is reducing himself down to one of the lamer types of supervillains that I think of, because he's realizing what's going on and what that this isn't going to do him a hell of a lot of good. He's like basically done a ejection seat on his armor, and the bits of it kind of break apart, fall away, and he's left still flying because of some of the crap, but basically he's in sort of like a chest harness bandolier kind of thing, belt. He's got gizmos on all of his wrists, arms. He's got weaponry and that kind of thing, gloves, that kind of, but he's out of the suit. He's got the headband that looks like old school Marvel Hercules, and all that kind of crap. And he's up in the air. Up there, and he's looking around and basically scanning the area, trying to figure out what to do. And as he's doing this, you see him kind of lurch out of the way. Well, actually, not even lurch out of the way. He starts to get out of the way, and Surge hits him dead on, like rugby tackle, right in the midsection. Very satisfying woof from that. But it doesn't last for too. Surge basically hits him in a literal flying tackle, and he sails probably a good 100 or 200 yards above you. The both of them do before Powertronic, who has actually done this for a little bit, manages to get some kind of leverage on him and sort of flips him off, twists enough to get him off of him and let the Surge's momentum carry him by and get throw him away from that thing and give himself some time and breathing space to do this. And you see him, looking around trying to figure out where the hell did he come from, scanning the sky, seeing Aliad, and despite the distance, despite everything, you see the most profound look of greed on his face when he sees Aliad. Like this absolute, like, this is the thing I want. This will solve everything for me. Thing. It's dehumanizing, honestly, because his face just twists. What do you do?
It's like the Bilbo sees the ring. hanging
Yes,
around.
yes. You know, doesn't quite go full on undead goblin mutation, but yeah. Honestly, every time I think that Peter Jackson kind of turned it a little bit too far to 11 or 12 on the dial, I reread the book and go, no, that was a legitimate interpretation of the way it was written. Because it's really a very unpleasant scene. Anyway. Keeping in mind there are some times where he definitely turns it to 12. Anyway. Matt.
So
He sees, with everything else going on, he sees Aliad, and you see him go, yeah. He goes full on my precious.
right.
That
and
is
I
the-
know that
And you know that. Sorry, I was.
that she is the corruptor, and she is the one that I am
They.
determined to. Excuse me. They are the one that I'm determined to prevent from
Becoming
having
or.
to take that.
Yeah, and you had. Your love letter from last time gave you the option of like figuring out a way to have somebody not have to play the role. Right?
That's why I've been watching for them.
Okay, so what do you do? Because he's not paying any attention to you right now.
That's fine. How is Sarge doing?
He kind of got it's basically sort of a super heroic aerial judo flip. So he got like sort of tossed back into underbrush and stuff like that. He's going to be coming back around, but he's fine. He's pretty single-minded. There's a whole thing that we never really got a chance to explore here, where Surge and Powertronic are like, the press would call it like, you know, their nemesis. Surge would say, you know, not that he would ever say so, because he doesn't really trust anybody to not, you know, twist his words about the whole thing. But from Surge's point of view, Powertronic got the good press every time they ever clashed, and that ended up with him being the bad guy, and Powertronic managing to become a member of the HHL because he's a right bastard who you know, always managed to get the right tricks. You know, if that were a in the story, if this were Surge's story, it's a whole redemption arc thing with finally getting his just desserts on the true bad guy, who's Powertronic. So he's pretty single focused on just getting to Powertronic, and it looks like he's probably going to get back to Powertronic pretty quick. Not least because Powertronic doesn't seem to be paying a hell of a lot of attention to him at the moment.
Right. So what I'm wanting to do is, in some ways, I wanted to hear that so I could turn my back on that.
Okay.
Because what I really want to do is intercept Alud and, you know, have her. I really don't want her to touch Paratronic because he's infected. And
Yeah.
so I need to interrupt her and, you know, have enough time to have her be able to defend herself.
And she's probably still about 4. I mean, sorry.
Okay.
I'm doing it too, so I'm sorry. they're probably still about 400 meters away. And coming in more, I think, yeah, definitely coming in faster now because of what's going on with Surge, and they want to, I don't know, they're coming in fast and, accelerated when the whole thing happened, when the impact happened with Surge and everything like that. How do you go about like stopping her? Like, what do you do?
I command the Excelsior.
Oh,
to
okay.
capture
Okay.
like in that direction.
While you're running in that direction, is that what you said? You broke up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm working my way that direction. I'm running that direction.
Okay.
I know that the craft can do that faster than I can.
Give me I'm going to have you unleash your powers because you're changing the environment to kind of make it harder for her to get involved in all that other kind of stuff, I think.
So does this count as piloting?
Sure.
Okay, when I'm piloting the craft, I can use it to invoke my powers or directly engage or defend using superior.
Okay, let me just, I think, where's the thing at?
There's one.
I'm looking at the wrong character sheet. It would help if I was on the right character sheet. That would be super useful. Kirby Craft. Invoke your powers, directly engage or defend. That is a really annoying. I'm just going to look at this real quick. I want to make sure. I want to see if it says in. If this is a copy paste, then it's just me being annoyed with the wording of the thing.
I might have typed it in.
Well, yeah, I that's why I don't know if it's invoke legacy. Where Kirby Craft is with Legacy? No,
Outside.
Outsiders.
Oh, that's what it says up there.
Does it say invoke? That's what I'm mostly trying to figure out. Unleash your powers, not invoke. That's what I. Thank you, book. You're the best. Because I was like, what is invoke your power? They specifically mean unleash your powers, like the move,
Right.
which is totally cool, and that's what I was gonna read it as. It seemed like they were trying to say something else, but I'm just gonna change that. So yes, so I'm asking you to unleash your powers. You are going through the thing, so yes, by all means, do the thing. So yeah, use your superior for this. Bloop.
Making us feel more normal.
Ah, thank God. Okay, so unstable or temporary or condition to kind of, because unstable or temporary makes a lot of sense because the ship's in the way, and Alia, they are they're very nimble. They're nimble in the air, and this probably isn't going to slow them down for long. It'll give you a, force a bit of a pause if it's the unstable or temporary option. Otherwise, it can be much better, but you're putting a lot more into it, and therefore condition.
Okay.
Which would you prefer?
I would like to take a condition.
Okay.
I'm gonna take afraid.
Oh, I love it. That's really good. I like that a lot. Okay, so you yeah, because you're just very, yeah, I get it. You're very panicky about all of this thing and how it's going to shake out and all this other kind of stuff. Awesome. So yeah, at least for now, the ship is staying in the way of whatever's going on back there in the background. And there is definitely something going back there in the background because Surge is grabbing rocks somehow up off the ground and like yanking up chunks of like bits of temple ruin, but mostly rocks and stuff like that up out of the ground and whipping them up at Powertronic and stuff like. You vaguely remember this, like that was one of the power sets that he was allowed use of in the school to do some of his seismic stuff, and it seems that he's basically working with that same power set, so he's doing a lot of like seismic stuff as he's going after Powertronic, and Powertronic's like, just dodging around all this kind of stuff. But again, that's not really your focus. That's kind of behind you while you're doing this and trying to get up close enough before Alia just gets tired of this and does something unnatural to the ship. Joe.
Yes.
Racing out of the temple. Rocks are still falling. It could be very complicated, but I really don't want it to be. There's a big, long avenue down through the buildings, and at the end of the avenue, there's a pile of rubble and Golem / Fluvis stalking up the street toward you. From it's rifle shot distance away. It's not close. It's not high noon kind of thing. He's still pretty distant, but what do you do? Or, and I'll ask this as a side note, Sync, is there anything that you want to do here in terms of confusing Fluvis before Joe would have gotten out of the temple? Confusing or any of the other little options that you've got there?
Or expose a weakness.
Oh, expose a weakness. That's good too. If that's what you're going for, let me know, and I will
Yes.
give you some stuff. Okay, we're going for expose a weakness. Okay, so the timeline, the timeline stuff playing through here gives you like sort of almost this overlay of like lines and stuff everywhere, and of possible intersections, and it's playing out odds of this rock falling, that thing, this building collapsing, all of that stuff. A lot of those lines tend to like arc gracefully toward Golem and then rebound because he's Golem, and that's not necessarily that's not simple. A lot of stuff just doesn't necessarily work very well on them. What's the weakness? Somebody help me with this. I'm stuck a little bit. I want to expose a weakness that he can relay to Joe. And I don't mean just like that, a weakness that he has, but a weakness that exists that can be exploited in this situation.
I got one right now. Do you want it?
Hit it. Yes.
So rock, Golem can't be solid rock. He's
True.
got to have craft, fizzers, whatever. So he's probably vulnerable to sound. What's better than a temple than a bunch of Latin chanting and other sort of sonorous noise? So reshape the temple into an echo chamber and hit him with sound.
Cool. I like it. Sorry, I was thinking about where can Joe quickly and efficiently find a temple gong.
I will also give you a bunch of gorillas just showing up and singing and joining voices in harmony.
Joe, I need you to get to the center of the temple and then clap.
Really, really loud. Just no what. Alex is so the sound thing is like okay.
I mean, you could make it cheap like that. What I'm trying to suggest here is maybe something with a little more dignity.
No, I like that. I like that. I want to set that out there as a. So yeah. So Alex is in there in the same place as Sync, and Sync's like it's like he's got weaknesses like sound. How are we gonna get sound? Does anybody? It's like and Sync is maybe making the wisecracks about where do we find 10 temple gongs and stuff like that. And Alex is like, I've got this, and commands begin to be relayed and stuff. So the guerrillas are assembling. So Joe, what you've got going on sort of in the background is the rest of your team is on exploiting a weakness of Fluvis's. You've got to give them time to do that. What do you do? So it's less about you having you worrying about it as it is like, right. They're working on the tricky thing. I'm going to work on the Joe thing.
Right. So clearly, what I want to do is that sure sounds like a defend kind of a maneuver.
It kind of does. If you're trying to keep him busy, but you could also just say, I'm going to keep him busy by like rocking his socks off, but that could get very damaging very quickly. Not just to you, but the area.
What? Only if I keep trying to take an additional option. So yeah, I think
if you guys get all smashy problems, if you get all grapply, yeah, you can keep busy for a while, maybe.
Sure. So you know what I'm going to do?
Mm-hmm. I'm
going to imitate the maneuver that I just did with Powertronic.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to make...
Call him a coward?
No, not that part. But I'm going to do the launch into the air with like the fist drawn back. Like this is going to be, the big whomping punch again.
I've got one move, and this is what I'm going to do because I'm a kid, and this is the move.
And I'm hoping either that Fluvis saw me do this against Powertronic, or even if they didn't, that they kind of interpret what I'm going to do.
The Fluvis awareness would kind of know about it. So yeah, continue on. But yeah.
And at the last moment, rather than throwing into a punch, I open the arms so I can just grapple him bodily.
Yeah. Swing past him almost and onto his, around him back. Now the interesting thing about this is, Gollum is big, Fluvis is big. What we finally realize in this visual context here, as you swing in there and get your grapple and stuff like that, is Joe's really goddamn big. Like
I'm angry right now, so I should be bigger than normal.
Inch for inch, you're comparable in size. Probably not mass. Certainly not mass, actually, but size. Certainly for size, like Joe's hitbox is just as big as Fluvis's hitbox. Anyway, you are also a large creature. No, I don't. Whatever. Anyway, cool. Yeah, roll me a defend. Because right now, the critters that would cause a need to overcome stuff just to get at him are currently trying to eat Kiln's face. So they're conveniently not where you are.
Can I consider this?
You're helping. Can you consider this what? Sorry?
Can I consider this I am helping defend the
rival?
Yeah, helping defend the rival, the tribe.
Yeah.
That's my overall goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So that means that I get to use danger.
Oh, God.
I'm not targeting the rival, so I can't take the +1, but I'll take the danger from the bull defender.
Yeah, that's cool.
So let's just do that thing and see what happens.
Loop. A full hit is what happens.
I will take a 10.
Really? Are you sure? Are you sure? You're not full?
Well, it's not a kapow.
I could. It isn't a kapow. That is true. You didn't kapow Powertronic into the air, but it's still a very palpable hit. So defend. You can add team to the pool, take influence over somebody you protect, clear condition. You already have influence over someone you protect. You can clear condition. You can add team to the pool.
Do I formally have influence over the gorilla tribe? I don't
Maybe
actually
not.
have that on the character.
Then maybe this is the moment. Because
Because
that'll go nicely into what Alex is about to do right now, or what Alex just enacted.
I've got sort of I've got organizational chart influence.
Yes.
But I don't have
You have-
hearts and minds influence.
You have dotted line influence, but it's not a solid line influence.
Right. So I can tell them that they need to cooperate with, with Alex, for example, but, I can't make them enthusiastic about it. So with defend, I got the 10.
Yeah, so they are not getting any closer to the temple. And
so I will say, yeah, I'm going to take influence over.
that's really cool. I like that. So the guerrillas are
They see me do this.
yes, because they're
Like,
arriving.
hurl
And,
myself forward to, protect them.
right. Yes. They are. Yeah, and they're assembling like atop buildings, various things like that. Alex, would you like to stun an opponent close up or from a distance?
Sure, I'll spend the hold for that.
I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, he's struggling, and the problem with, I show this, Golem here. I got rid of the picture, but he's pointy. He's not the thing you really want to like go full, get into a full Nelson. It's not great, especially when he's struggling and he's not weak. You are rather painfully reminded pretty quickly that you're talking about one of the preeminent heroes of the age right now, combined with an elder god. And you're going Greco-Roman on him. That's kind of a problem. So as much as you're in there and feeling like, it's also like, oh shit, like this isn't gonna hold for long. And then then he literally shakes. What were you were kind of having them do like a chant? Is that the idea, Alex?
I will do a moment of truth for Tahi here, if that's okay.
I like it.
So, we realize why a temple guardian is made of stone, because they can shape stone. And the temple itself is curving and bending, and the walls around it are curving and bending. And the guerrillas have been called back because they need to defend their home. And right now, this is the biggest threat against that. The bots are being taken care of, like the bugs are being taken care of. There's a stalemate going on out there. But they are just bellowing and letting it go in the loudest possible way that they can, and all that sound is being transferred and channeled according to acoustics that somebody knew a long time ago into one place. And I expect that if Kiln is here, they will hear the song of their people. There's a song being shouted here, which is a very old one.
Yeah. Kiln is about to
and-
be here, so that works out.
And well, then as Kiln is running towards this, they'll probably hear this and be like, "Oh, that's interesting." But I feel like Golem at this point is probably like literally vibrating almost apart and is trying to hold himself together.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. What did you say? You're like, this is a moment of truth you're providing a moment of truth for Tahi. Is that what you said?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I like it.
let her be a temple guardian against a dangerous threat.
Yeah. That's really, really cool. Yeah, and the girl is providing some of the impetus for this with the song and stuff like that. So yeah, zooming up to Kiln then. So yeah, Kiln, you had gotten blasted back by this whole like crater thing. And you're starting to work forward, and you're basically finding yourself like wading through like the insects, the bots, trying to get to this hole that he knocked down through this thing, and you get to the lip of the thing, still fighting, and you can hear this sound, and the response within your own head. The chant within your head of the many voices that have been, brought together in you is this sonorous, shocking recognition. The recognition of seeing yourself in the mirror when you up until now you didn't really feel like you knew your face. But you're almost not even a part of it. You're just a conduit for it. The recognition within and without of this sound. The bots and the bugs again are closing in, getting closer to you, and you just it's almost like an afterthought to swing your sword back and do this like arc of flame to just drive them back or destroy some of them or anything like that as you drop down through the hole. into the city below. Joe is holding is holding Fluvis somehow, who is struggling, but at the same time practically fuzzy around the edges from the way that they're responding to this resonance, to the song, to the vibrations in the air, and all this stuff. It's almost like diving down into an overheated pool, like a bath or something like that, sinking down into this sound. It feels like you're slowing down in your drop as you do, or you have all the time in the world. What do you do? Because you're basically dropping down, for all intents and purposes, practically on top of Fluvis and Joe.
I have this. This feels like, and maybe just because I have it in the back of my head, but this feels kind of, well, you mentioned moment of truth for Tom, but like this whole thing kind of feels moment of truth.
I mean, I think it's certainly very cool. And it's a complicated problem because there's many voices in your head, and all the voices are saying, destroy it, destroy it, destroy it, destroy him, destroy him, destroy him. And there's this sort of Phoenix Academy voice in your head, the voice of Kilm the student with the kids and stuff saying, Fluvis is there, but this is also a person that we would be killing if we just kill it. So what do we do? That's a moment where yeah, maybe this is, it certainly feels like it. Do you have that? You have moment of truth sitting there, right?
Yeah, I unlocked it.
It feels really good, but what? Yeah. So can you read the text for your moment of truth? I don't.
Yeah.
Is it or is it on the character sheet? If so, I can just look at it. But
no, it's not on the character sheet, but I can
bloop.
link that.
I heard a bloop. I heard a bloop. You find yourself center and all the old lessons rise to the surface. The old ways may be harsh, but the times were harsh. Deal with the system as your ancestors, or rather than their ancestors and your people would have. Or as your ancestors, or rather their ancestors and your people would have. No frills, no pomp, clean and expedient. Expect backlash when all is said and done, as you show yourself to be the barbarian so many people thought you were. So this is the question. You know, I almost feel like the moment of truth is the way it's written. The moment of truth is the voices and saying, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. But I've never really felt like that playbook was entirely baked. I think it's more. I think it is equally valid to say this is the moment where you decide whether it's the simple solution from your past or the complicated solution that isn't perfect, but is maybe better. I don't know if you're feeling that one way or the other.
Well, first, I want to make sure I'm not stepping on anyone's toes.
With the moment of truth?
Oh, please
Yeah.
take him down.
Joe?
This is your doo-doo.
Well, I will say that I had a
You've got a moment
of using moment of truth as well, but that said, it is Kiln's
dude.
nemesis. And I'll just say that, what does it mean to be a barbarian? It means to have customs that are different than what are expected.
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure.
So that doesn't necessarily mean more bloodthirsty customs. It could be less bloodthirsty customs.
Yeah. Again, as always, we get to decide what it means. So I think everyone's on board. I certainly am. We've got the problem with moments of truth when you have a pile of them in the group ready to go is like, who gets a turn being awesome. But
I thought of it an alternative opportunity, so please go ahead, Kellen.
If you need a moment to we can simply have you drop onto the ground right in front of Flubus while this is happening, and we cut away to Met to give you a moment to figure out what this looks like.
Yeah, can you give me a
Absolutely.
sec?
Yeah, absolutely. Met conveniently provides readers with another important bit that we need to kind of sort out. Okay, so Met, the ship. Does the ship have guns? It doesn't have guns, does it?
No,
Or does
it's
it?
unarmed.
It's unarmed.
That's
So
its weakness.
it's basically like just sort of physically interspersing itself and I will say that we'll cut to the bit where Aliad looks down and they realize you're doing this. Like it's like, what are you doing? Let me get in there. Let me help. Why are you always like this to me?
I'm sorry. I can't let you. He's infected.
Who? He's our teacher. He's not infected. Let me help him.
Not Surge. Powertronic.
He definitely was not going to say teacher, FYI. But
Yeah.
what do you mean he's infected? I mean, we can't. Infected
Did they see Fluvis before he disappeared?
No, I don't think so. She wouldn't. They. Damn it. No, because they've been focused on Surge. Surge was following Powertronic.
Were they around when This Is Your Life aired at PA?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Probably didn't put two and two together, but you could quickly make them. I mean, they are clever. So getting them to make the connection, like simply by saying like the thing that happened to Gollum is happening to him less obviously, or has happened to him, or if he isn't infected, he's at least a carrier, kind of thing, would get her caught up on current events pretty quickly.
Right. And so basically
Get them. Damn it.
Basically what I want to say is that, Gollum or Gollum was contaminated by an ancient evil. It's spread to Powertronic. It spreads through technology. You can't touch it without potentially becoming infected yourself. I don't want you to be the monster. I can't.
So she hears you. Damn it. At least I caught myself before I got corrected. They hear you. They really do. You see that. But it's also right about then that Surge lets out this absolutely agonized like sound. I won't say scream necessarily, but it is not a good sound. and both of you kind of snap your attention back around to this thing because Powertronics managed to. It's just like they're still kind of in the air. I don't know how else to explain what he's got, but he's got this gizmo thing from off of his belt of wonders that looks like the shaft is about the length of a pencil, but it's thicker. It's a big, heavy kind of thing, and it's basically got like a four-pronged like thing on the end, like a probe kind of stabby thing. It looks like the top of Isengard on the end of a stick, and it's just like a long enough thing to jam into. But it's
like R2D2 pulling out his little thing to,
yeah, but much more sharper and insertier kind of a thing. And he hasn't gotten anything particularly noteworthy about it. Like he didn't get it in any place particularly noteworthy with Surge. Surge has got him around the waist again, rugby tackle thing. I basically jammed this thing into Surge's like shoulder. Surge is a big robot, except you can see from here the spreading, whatever, like something burbling and bubbling. It's like the skin is it's like regular skin getting third-degree burns, and you're watching it happening. It's blistering out down his arm and along his back, and he's still holding on, but he's like roaring really with whatever is happening to this thing.
Okay. So basically, I'm gonna yell. Yeah. It's the infection. You go help Sync in the temple. I will help Surge. I can't be infected.
I'm going to have to ask you to. Oh man, I don't even know how you get them to do that. That is crazy.
That sounds like a provoke.
I gave them a purpose.
It's got to be you gave them a project, but I mean, come on, it's their dad. It's their
what
progenitor.
Surge would want you to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably a provoke. It's probably a provoke. It's pretty much got to be a provoke to get them to back down from this thing. She can. God damn it! Ugh! I have this character that I cannot say their name correctly in the other game, and sometimes I'll go an entire session and I'm great, and other times I cannot get it right. And I feel like I'm having that moment with Elliot's pronouns. Anyway, they're obviously terribly torn by this whole thing. Want nothing more than to go there and help and do something horrible to Powertronic. At the same time, can see a visual representation of exactly what it is that Matt's talking about. I'm
going to just twist the knife a little bit.
Okay.
This doesn't have to be your future.
I mean,
I'll provoke.
Not helped by the fact that they don't particularly like you after the whole thing. But yeah, go ahead and hit the provoke. It's a superior, so that works out pretty well to your advantage. But let's see what we get. 9. Oh.
Do we need some team in there?
You might. So on a 10, they do what you say. On a 9, they don't have to. They've got other options.
I could use a team here if somebody wants to.
I can team.
Oh yeah, Sync is perfect for this because of just being sort of throughout the temple, and
and because Sync's who I want them to help. So
yeah, and Alex is currently turning the temple into an amphitheater. So. Alongside things. So yeah, this is, and you got stuff to spend. So
Matt, I could really use some help in here. We need to move around a bunch of stuff.
Not the voice kind of
And I'll
everywhere.
I'll yell out. I'll yell out. I'm sending Alud down. I'm having to deal with Powertronic.
Oh yeah, Elud would help a lot more. Thanks.
Nice. That was a very Roddy.
I feel like
appreciate it.
I feel like at some point in time there's like a Guardians of the Galaxy introduction to everybody is like Mighty Joe Young, king of the gorilla tribe, leader of the Agent 1337, blah blah blah, go on through the whole spiel. Met, Voyager from the far future, Kiln, Pilgrim from the distant past. And the camera sweeps over to Roddy. And then there's this asshole. Anyway, it's perfect. I love it so much. Oh yeah, they'd be a lot more useful than you. Perfect. What? All right. Provoke to a 10. Oh man. They are never going to forgive you for this.
That's okay.
I can't even exact any kind of promise or anything like that. But they
Yeah,
do
because
they
Go
do
ahead.
point a finger at you. Yeah, if you really wanted to dig the knife, it'd be like, turning his words back around on them, like in some kind of like from some of the hero classes or something like that, like about how you prioritize threats and act, kind of thing. But we didn't really have that to fall back on right here. In any case, they do.
mean-
Go ahead.
I'll say if you're looking for that extra bit of explanation,
Yeah.
there was indication that Elliot had a crush on Roddy.
Oh, yeah. That's because that's not going to be a really awkward triangle. Okay. They kind of jab their finger at you.
For...
They kind of jab their finger at you, Matt, and like you save him, and then they're gone. He had no idea they could move that fast.
That does put me into a really challenging spot since Surge
Yeah.
is harder. But hey, let's see what we can do here.
Okay. I am fine either way, James. Do you want to moment of truth it right now, or do we begin with the moment of truth at the beginning of the next session?
Oh god, it did get late.
It did. We have been packed full like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich of action for the last 2.5 hours, and good for us. But
If we do push it off to next time,
yeah.
plan on being able to finish in an hour.
Okay. Why?
Just assume everything will take twice as long as what you planned for.
To be fair, I did get a lot done tonight. It's not that everything takes twice as long, it's that I have half as much time for a game session.
Yeah.
All right, you can
Tomato,
go off,
tomato.
you can go off to Sweden now, sir. Give me your eh.
No, I can't. I have a moment of truth too.
All right, but if you want, what I'm saying is, if you want to polish and hone this thing, we can begin with it, or we can do it right now. I'm good either way.
No, I think not to milk it or anything, but I'd be good starting next session.
Okay. That's absolutely fine. So, looping around through this thing, we have Roddy surrounded by all the possibilities inherent within all the time possibilities and paradoxes and twists and turns inherent within the situation. There is a knot of that stuff all around Met and Powertronic. We actually see all of this kind of through Roddy's eyes a little bit, his current eyes. There's a knot of good and mostly horrible stuff around Powertronic, Surge, and Met up there on the surface. Down in the city, we've got the singing of the gorillas, and as they basically like chant for their king in locked in battle against Fluvis. Kiln landing really impossibly lightly in front of them, like there wasn't really that much kinetic energy in them falling from the hole up above. Sword is out, and they seem to almost consider the situation really, like they seem to be just sort of considering the tableau before them as there's a sort of this smoking haze around them. It's not really smoke, it's not really fire, it's the after images of all those who once were, or it is the heat off the kiln, who knows. Alex in there in the temple, really all but hand in hand with Tahi as they channel the temple. Tahi, kind of head back, eyes closed, and completely one with the temple at this moment. Gothwitch over there with a hand kind of resting on Roddy, on Roddy's shoulder, who doesn't really notice because he's kind of lost in everything else going on, and that's where we'll pick it up.
And Doris, I sent you a DM on Discord.
Okay. Starting from. All right, Matt, closer to the team. Blah 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 blah. I forgot all the other options. More into image yourself, further away from the team because screw these guys.
I think this is still closer to myself. Since I was sort of doing more one-on-one with Paratronic, less with the temple.
I'm sorry, say that again because I read Bill's message and I completely lost the ability to process human speech for about 5 seconds. Say that again.
Closer to myself.
Okay. Bill, that's fucking genius. Hey, Alex, closer to the team, further away from the team, or image yourself.
I'll go for the image of myself.
That seems fair. Sync, same question.
Self.
Okay. Very consistent about this. Joe.
I will be more to the image of myself.
Okay. And we will end where we will begin next session with Kiln.
I feel like I'd be remiss not to say image of myself.
Tune those stats, people. Tune them to a very.
Defeating the big bad with the power of friendship is all well and good, but
it also helps if your danger is nice and high.
You have a sword, it's named friendship. It's fine.
I defeated them with the power of friendship. Don't you mean put them in the hospital with your sword? Well, my sword is named friendship. Shut up. Anyway. All right.
Oh, I thought it was going to be, what can you do against me? I will defeat you with the power of friendship.
Shing.
Meet friendship.
Meet friendship. Love it. All right. Tune in next week. Find out what happens. I'll plan for 45 minutes. Anyway.